Sutta Maharishi concludes by saying, having entered into the three gunas that have been evolved by Maya, the Supreme Being appears as possessed of the gunas while he is consciousness personified. He says, Taya virasiteshu eshu guneshu gunavaniva antah pravishta abhati vijnanena vijrumbhitah. Before this, we saw the description of the three gunas, and he says how the Lord is beyond Prakriti and its three modes, and yet the three modes of Prakriti evolves this whole universe, which is his Maya, and which is both seemingly real and unreal. So that's why it is said that Maya is anirvachaniya. It cannot be categorized as either true or not true, because the nature of this world is that it is impermanent, clearly, but at the same time, it is simply a modification of that which is. So the essence of this world is pure consciousness, which is the Supreme Being. The forms of this world are always fleeting. So just as we look at a screen, the essence of all the images of the screen is light, and the light is real, but the various forms of the images on the screen are just play of light that is constantly changing. So the images are both real and unreal in the sense that as forms they are constantly changing, but as the essence, which is light, they are always eternally true. Similarly, the various forms of this universe made of the three gunas are all essentially pure consciousness, and therefore they are true, and yet their outer forms keeps changing, and therefore at the level of forms they are impermanent. So this nature of the world, which is both essentially same as God and at the level of forms constantly evolving and changing, it is said this is what is called as Maya. So therefore Maya is not to be translated as just illusion or unreal. That will give the wrong sense. It is way subtler than that. And this Maya, which is both real and unreal, which is made of the three gunas, it says here that he enters these as pure consciousness. Antah pravishta abhati means he enters them into the every aspect of this Maya, that is, every cell, every atom of this universe is pervaded by pure consciousness, and therefore the essential truth of this universe is God alone. And what makes them take the forms is the energy called Prakriti, which is made of three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So these three gunas, which comprise the material energy Prakriti, which is also called Maya, is what appears as the entire universe, and within them, as the essence of them, is the pure consciousness, which is the Supreme Being. Vijnanena vijrambitaha, it says. Vijnanam is another word for pure consciousness. So here it says, he abides within as the essence, which is pure consciousness that is all pervading, and he manifests as the various forms which are an expression of Prakriti. So if we look at our own lives, every activity we engage in, at the physical level or at the mental level, through thought, word, or speech, or even prior to that, through the various biological activities and so on. At all levels, all these activities are an expression of the three modes of Prakriti, which are happening through the divine will. And the essence of them and that which abides as these come and go is the pure consciousness. So, if we look at us, then in this way clearly we see that there is no individual self, there is no separate entity, there is no such thing as an ego. That's only a fiction. All there is the divine will, which is operating and making every aspect of the universe function. And what underlies that is pure consciousness. So when we remain without any activity of the mind in stillness, what is there is pure consciousness. And when that stillness stirs and comes forth as activities, it is the divine will. So there is nothing other than this, and therefore any identification with either an attempt to realize stillness or an attempt to identify with activities as the doer is both Maya, both ego. But if we simply realize that all there is only this pure consciousness and its expression as Prakriti, then activities go on when they go on, and when there is stillness, but there is no false interloper called the ego. Therefore, he concludes by saying, just as fire, though really one, appears as many abiding in different logs of wood, so does God, the soul of the universe, though essentially one, appears as many manifest in different beings. Yatahi avahito vaknir darusheka swayonishu naneva bhati vishwatma bhuteshu cha tathapuma. So Vishwatma means the soul of the universe. Naneva bhati, he shines as many. So that's why it's what we describe, that every form is simply an expression of the divine. Therefore, Nana eva bhati means Naneva bhati. Nana is as many, as infinite forms. Bhati, he shines. Vishwatma, bhuteshu cha tathapuman, in every being. So in every living entity, and in fact in every cell, every atom, every inanimate object as well, in every cell, every atom, what shines forth is the Supreme Self, pure consciousness. And the example given here is like wood having fire. So every piece of wood has fire latent in it. The fire is not seen because it's latent, and when there is a fuel, then the fire comes out of the wood, and each wood burns differently, and yet the fire is the same. So similarly, he says here that the consciousness within is the same, but it is not seen because it's latent, and it expresses itself differently, uniquely through each living entity, or for that matter even each inanimate object. It expresses itself in unique ways. So that's the essence of the teaching of Bhagavatam itself. And therefore he says, it is he alone who creates the world, who supports us all the beings, and who protects the world, and he who dissolves it. So all there is as the creative energy, the sustaining energy, the dissolving energy, is all nothing but the one supreme being. And therefore when we recognize this, then everything falls in the right place, activities can go on, thoughts, words, speech, actions, everything can go on, but there is no doership, there is no false identification as me, and in that there is peace and true equanimity. So that's the way the second chapter of Bhagavatam, first Skanda, is finished.